So, greetings and welcome back to the Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman YouTube studio. This is actually my little personal den or study. It's where I do all my drawings. It's where I read and write and pontificate all of the thoughts and expressions of the outdoors, whether they be hunting related or not. I've got here on the floor, I'll show it to you real quick. I am doing my summertime survey. I'm going through all of my stuff, making sure that when archery season gets here, I'll be ready to go. I want to check my thermocell. I want to make sure I've got my thermocells ready to go with fuel and cartridge. I want to make sure that the batteries in my GPS and my spot locator and my cameras are all ready to go. I want to make sure that I got bug repellent because I use both Thermacell and bug repellent. Thermacell doesn't do anything for ticks. Summertime, the place is full of ticks, and you'll come home with 20 or 30 ticks. I've had so many ticks on me, I think I'm immune to the Lyme disease. I may not be, but I've never had it, and I've been bit 1,000 times. I've had ticks on me and not realized it in forbidden places, right? And I'm sure you have too. But the spray will help protect you from ticks. So don't give up on the spray, as nasty as it is to use. Put it on your clothing, put it on your hat, put it on your hands, rub it on your face, whatever you can tolerate, because ticks are no fun. And also I've got, I check my safety harness, make sure it's ready to go. Just all of the things I got laid out here on my floor. I got more stuff than Walmart, man. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this stuff, but that's the hunter's lifestyle. That's the outdoorsman coming out in me. I want to make sure all my batteries are good and everything's ready to go. So that's what that's all about. I hope you got the quota permit that you applied for. Of course, if you did, that's great. I want to go back to the process of applying for places I probably aren't going to get in order to get preference points. I would like to get 3 preference points and then start a cycle where I can get drawn for a management area that I want to hunt every year. So if it takes 3 preference points, well, you've got 4 chances to apply. That means you can rotate. You can Rolodex your process. In other words, 1 year you'll get drawn for archery. 1 year you'll get drawn for muzzleloader. 1 year you'll get drawn for modern gun. Some places have 2 hunts on a modern gun, okay? One day you'll be able to go, one season you'll be able to go to your favorite management area that requires 3 points. You'll be able to go every year if you do that process. You'll only be able to do one method of take, but that's okay. I just want to go one time. I don't hang my hat on quota permits, but I do like to go. I do like to go to those places like Half Moon, and Half Moon's my favorite, and like Panisofsky, of course. That's the hog hunt that I like to do, and the list goes on and on and on. So yeah, I applied and I didn't get nothing. What a surprise, okay? So I went in and I looked at the second phase of the quota permits, and I saw a few on there for archery that I was quite surprised that there were some available. I'm just letting you know. I'm not going to tell you which ones they are. You go online, look it up, and apply if you didn't get drawn, okay? And so go in. I did. I went. This is the first time I ever applied for the second draw, and I put in my request, and we'll see what happens. And then I'm going to go to hunts that require no quota permit. You know how I feel about that many places get ignored because there's no quota permit required, and very few people go in. And there's a big old buck in that swamp somewhere. There's got to be. It's just tens of thousands of acres of unpenetrable swamp, and there's no telling what lives in there. And that place is just begging for a guy to walk in there a couple of 100 yards and set up a tree stand on a trail and wait for a deer to come by. You've got to expand your horizons, okay, and go a little further, dig a little harder, dig a little deeper, and find that spot that holds that promise for you, okay? So so in the video you just saw, the intro there, you saw the camera was on the ground pointing up. I wanted to show you the angle that I was making because the question comes up. For me, okay, when do I want to make that shot? When do I want to come to full draw? Somebody's going to say, well, do you really expect the deer to stand underneath your stand while you come to full draw and take that shot? Do you really think that's going to happen? I'm here to tell you, after 50 years of archery hunting, there's no rules, okay? There's no regulations. I saw a guy in, I guess it was the Gothi Wildlife Management Area that shot a 130-inch buck, and he said that deer came in, and he came to full draw, and it stood there and let him shoot him. And he couldn't believe how it unfolded. And yeah, so here's my process. Here's my thought process that if you're going to hunt with a bow and arrow, your best chance for making a shot, in my mind, is your first chance. And I know we always talk about got to be patient, but you never know when that deer is going to bolt, right? He picks up your scent, he picks up your movement. Suddenly he knows something's up, and he bolts off, right? You don't know when that's going to happen. It can happen in a split second, and your opportunity will be gone. So the question I'm putting to you, when do you take that shot? Do you wait for a perfect broadside shot? Do you wait for him to be inside 20 yards? Do you take the first shot regardless of what your practice level is or what your skill level is? I would never criticize you for hunting with a recurve or a longbow and taking a shot at 30 yards if you know you can have a good chance of making that shot. All right? But those of us that hunt with cam bows, modern day archery, okay, you'll see that in that video I do quite the dramatic twist and turn to make that shot. And I'm kind of playing with the idea that I really didn't get an opportunity to shoot that deer until he was underneath my stand. How am I going to make that shot? Well, you need to ask yourself that same question. How are you going to make that shot? Well, let's practice it, and let's see if it's doable. So I'll know I can put that little memory, put that little piece of knowledge in my quiver, right? And use it to, be successful, help put the odds more in my favor. And of course, that's another place we're going to be going. I want to do a little study, and I did it not too long ago, putting the odds in our favor. What can we do? You'll never have the odds in your favor. The odds will always be against you. If it were easy, there'd be no deer. Everybody would shoot them all. It's not easy. It's terrible, hard, difficult. I cringe at the idea of encouraging someone to go bow hunting knowing how hard and hot and miserable it is. I had another guy ask me about snakes. We should do a video on snakes. I'm going to do a video on venomous snakes and my approach, okay? And how do I stay safe? And there are things that you can do to put the odds in your favor, not to get bit by a snake. I'm going to share that with you. Not today, but in another video. And Kevin Vaughn, my dear friend Kevin Vaughn, who has Spring King calls, was deer hunting during the archery season. He said he was standing in his tree stand, and he said he was as wet as sweat can get. From the top of his head all the way down to his jeans, his whole body was soaking wet. The humidity was so hot, and he killed a great 8-point with his bow on public land in 100-degree weather. And you can go back and watch the video because we did a interview with him a year or so ago. I guess it was about a year ago. We went and visited with Kevin, talked to him a little bit about his experience, and he is a great public land hunter. I wish I was as good a public land hunter as he is. He has killed some fantastic bucks. I would encourage you to go back and watch that video. In fact, I'll probably put it on for the end screen, so all you got to do is click on it. I'll try and do that. I'm real good at making this thing do what I want it to do, but I'll make an attempt, okay? So, yeah, Kevin said I couldn't believe it, that I was standing in there, and I couldn't believe I was even in there hunting at all. It was 10 o'clock in the morning, and the air wasn't stirring. It was absolutely miserable. And along came this grade 8 point that was feeding and walking as if it was just another day. He said that deer just came walking in, and it was just amazing to him how that deer was not seemingly was making mid-morning movement in weather that we wouldn't even think of being out there. So yeah, there's a lesson in that to be learned, okay? So that's my lesson for today, is we're going to think about putting the odds in our favor. We're going to think about our shot. When do you decide? Comment, if you will. Do you take the first shot that's presented to you? I know I do, because I get amped up and I can't help it, right? And I've missed a lot of deer, but I've killed a few too. So, what's right? Who knows? You just got to take your best chance and go for it. If you're going to be archery hunting on public land, all right, so go get a quota permit. The second phase is on right now, and search through that thing, because I saw a hunt in there that I'd like to get drawn for. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because somebody out there is hoping they'll get a permit too. So, yeah, do your homework, figure it out, and good luck, and we'll talk to y'all soon. See ya. Bye.